Good morning, everybody. שפע ברוך והצלוחו, שיעורים משפחתם של הקדושים והטהורים. Okay, we are after Yom Kippur. Say hi, Baruch Hashem. Wow, we finished, but didn't finish anything. You know, it's unbelievable. You know, every time that we think that we finish something, there is something else waiting for us. But here is something very important to understand. It's like, I always, I think we talked about it in the past already. It's like somebody who needs to have an operation, a critical operation, saving life operation, and the first stage is that he has to be prepared to this operation. So first of all, he's got a committee, and the committee is checking if he is suitable to go through the procedure, because sometimes, you know, the illness is so bad and you're in such a bad situation that you're doomed, it's finished, it's nothing to do. From the other side, if you are, let's say, prepared and you can go through the procedure, so then you get orders how to eat and what you're allowed to do, not you're not allowed to do. Tell you, let's say, for example, for 10 days, you have to be in a special diet, this you're allowed to do, this, and then when the operation day comes, of course, you're not eating, you're drinking, you're fasting. And Baruch Hashem, you go into the operation, and the operation is successful. So I will ask you now a question. What is this whole procedure for? What is the target? The operation? Yes? Apito. Of course not. The idea is that you will now start your life again. And you have the ability now to go on with your life because of the operation. The operation is only a tool that saved you, and now you can go on with your life. So the whole thing, the whole procedure is for what's happening after the operation. The same thing is with us. We were critically ill. We, from a spiritual point of view, we didn't do exactly what God wanted us to do. And we got to a point that we need a special operation. And before this, we prepared ourselves on Chodesh Elul. And then came, Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah, the committee was standing and all the doctors were checking us if we can go through the procedure. Now, if a guy or a woman, if we did too many sins, chas v'sholom, so the procedure is ended, you are finished, that's it, you're doomed. And if the committee said, 1 minute, he's 100% healthy, he doesn't need anything, so you go home and go on with your life happily ever after. But if you are with an illness, but you can be saved. So now, they may give you a date of an operation, and they tell you before the operation you have now for a few days, you have to prepare yourself. The 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, when Rosh Hashanah, God decided, yes, Baruch Hashem, you can go through the operation, and the operation can save your life. But you say slichas, you are more, let's say, more keeping more the mitzvahs a little more. You know, like for kashrut and all the things, you are more, let's say, on it than unusual on normal days. And then comes the day Yom Kippurim. That's the operation day. This is when God saves you. That's when the great doctor, Kodesh Baruch Hu, our Father in heaven, makes the operation and saves us and gives us a new year. So now we have to prove God that we're using the life He gave us in a proper way. And this is why, right after Yom Kippur, we're starting building the Sukkah. And it's very interesting. When we look at the halachot of Chodesh Elul, Rosh Hashanah, Aseret Yemei Tshuva, Yom Kippur, something like this. You can look in the books. But when we look at the halachot of Sukkot, it's something like this, unbelievable. More than double, maybe 3 times more than the halachot of all the procedure we went through. Why? The idea is very simple. God gives us, after Yom Kippur, He wants to help us to recover and go into the new year in the right foot. So he gives us those beautiful mitzvahs. You know, as when you ask me what I remember as a kid from all the Yom Tovim, it's Sukkot. This adventure of building the sukkah outside, sitting with the whole family outside in the sukkah and eating in the nature and preparing the decoration for the sukkahs. We used to have the whole family, like my grandmother, we built the sukkah in her yard, and the whole family came. All the grandchildren and the sisters and the brothers. And before, we used to come to her house and prepare decoration. Not like today, they buy everything ready. But it doesn't matter, even this is good. And then we used to hang them in the sukkah. And this whole thing was so exciting and so joyful. And the Arbat HaMinim. This is what God is. God is right after Yom Kippur gives us those beautiful mitzvahs. That it will be not only easy, we can be happy with it and enjoy it. So the procedure is now. Now we have to prove the Kodesh Baruch Hu that we did it in the best way we can. And we run, we build the sukkah, we go buy Arbat HaMinim, decoration, make a beautiful sukkah for God, and then sit in the sukkah with God. And this connects us to another interesting point. Now that we understand that the procedure didn't end, but it's only beginning. A new beginning, after we went through a whole procedure, and we are successfully out of it, hopefully also signed and for good, beautiful year. Now we have to show Kadosh Baruch Hu that the operation was successful and we are starting from a new beginning, a better thing, and we start with the mitzvahs of Sukkot. One of the questions that is being asked is, why do we celebrate Sukkot in this time? Sukkot is against the Ananei Kavod, the clouds that surrounded Am Yisrael in the desert. When did the cloud start? When we went out of Egypt, Yetziat Mitzrayim. And this was on Nisan. So if we're thinking about it, we should sit in the sukkah on Pesach and eat matzah. So why now? So the halacha says that during Pesach, it's a beautiful weather condition. And if we sit in the sukkah, nobody will understand that we're doing a mitzvah. They will think that we enjoy it. We're just sitting outside in the sukkah for the breeze, for the good air. So our sages decided that they're going to do it on Tishrei. Kodesh Baruch Hu decided this is going to be on Tishrei. We do it when the weather is not so good. The weather is already starting raining. And always when I saw this halacha, I couldn't connect with it. Why? Because here in Israel, maybe abroad in some places there's winter and there's raining, but here in Israel, the weather is beautiful now. And very rarely there is rain. Depends when it happens in the year, yes, and according to the times of the changing of the weather. And even the halacha says that even the first night you sit in the sukkah and it's raining, it's not a good sign. It's like the Mishnah says, it's like somebody comes to his master and gives him a glass of water, and the master takes the glass of water and spills it on his head. In other words, he's not satisfied with the service. He's not satisfied with his slave. He's not satisfied with his worker. And this is like when God is giving us rain on the first night of Sukkot, it means we didn't do it right. He is not happy about us. So I saw a beautiful explanation that explains the reason in a different way. Yes, Ananei Kavod, the clouds, the honor clouds that God gave us in His great love, they started going with us in the desert from the day we went out of the desert, out of Egypt to the desert. But when we sinned with the golden calf, 2 minutes after we received the Torah, the clouds went off. They left us. Yes. And you know when they came back? Yes, when did they come back? At the 15th of Tishrei, when we sit in the Sukkah. Why didn't they come back right after Yom Kippur? Ki bayom hazeh yechaper alachem. We got to redemption, everything is okay. Why didn't the cloud came back then? And this is something that we have to understand. And it's like, if we want to understand it better, it's like a son went and did a very, very bad thing to his father. He gave his father to his enemies, and the enemies captured him because the son told them how to capture him and when and where. Really betrayed his father in the worst way. Gave him to his enemies. And after years of suffering, as we can imagine today, those who are suffering in the tunnels, those prisoners, those in captivity, and after years he's being saved and he comes back home, and the next morning, who is knocking at the door? His son, the one who betrayed him, the one who caused him all those troubles. Father, please forgive me. Chatati, aviti, pashati, machali, slachli, kaperli. What do you think? Is the father going to forgive his son? Yes. At the end of the day, it's his son. And the love of father to his son is more than we can imagine. But is it going to be the same relationship? Is it going to be the same love as before? Of course not. How can a father love a child that betrayed him and gave him away to his enemies? How? The same thing is with us. Yes. 2 minutes after we receive the Torah, we sin with the golden calf, idol worshiping. How can it be? And yes, God took the clouds away. Then Moshe Rabbeinu goes up and pleads to God, and he's asked forgiveness for Am Yisrael. And eventually, Kadosh Baruch Hu says, "Okay, I forgive you." And he goes down with the Luchot HaBrit, with the second tablets, the Luchot HaBrit, and the clouds don't come back from a very simple reason. Yes, God forgive us, but it's not the same as before, because a terrible sin, 2 minutes after getting the Torah, hearing God speak, seeing things that nobody saw, you betrayed God. Yes, God forgave us, but it's not the same relationship. But then Moshe Rabbeinu tells the people, we have to build a tabernacle to God, a place for God here. And everybody's starting running and bringing so much that after 2 days, Moshe Rabbeinu says, enough, there is no place for anymore. Baruch Hashem, okay, tomorrow we start. And this is at the 15th of Tishrei, they start building the Mishkan. And when they do this, the clouds came back. Because God saw, wow, they not only regretting what they did, they are really, really so sorry what they did, that they running and wanted me to understand it's all from the heart. So Father in heaven brings his love back as before, and shows us it with the clouds. The same thing is now. After Yom Kippur, we sinned, we betrayed God. God gives us now those mitzvahs, and he sees us running, building the sukkah, running for Abat Aminim, doing all those unbelievable things, and rushing and doing it in the best way we can, and smiling and enjoying it. So God says, wow, yes, they really regret what they did. And if it's this case, the minute we go in the sukkah, the clouds of love come back and cover us. And our hope is that this year, more than any other year, after all what we went through, the terrible things that were happening, we betrayed God, we spreaded hatred, we went against the religion, as we saw in Yom Kippur last year, and other things, but we now, at this Yom Kippur, we ask forgiveness from God. We ask Kaper Lanu. And God did. And now we're showing him, God, we love you. We are doing, and this is one of the basic things that we have to show. Why are we doing everything we're doing? Showing love to each other, helping each other. If somebody hasn't got the ability to build a sukkah, you help him build a sukkah. If somebody hasn't got the money to buy products for the sukkah, to eating, the poor people, you v'samachta b'charecha, not only you, also the others. You give to the others. And when God will see this love that is spread all over, and how we worship God and regret the bad things we did, and instead of spreading hate, we're spreading love, God will bring this Ananei Kavod back. Those clouds of love will bring us back. And when we go in the sukkah, in today's time, we will feel the love of God embracing us. And Bezrat Hashem, we'll see everything changing for the better. For a beautiful, unbelievable year in El Geula Shlema. All the best and Chag Sameach.